On the day Ethan's cherished love was divorced, he brought her to the old residence and casually informed me, "Nina enjoys sweets, henceforth, afternoon tea must offer variety. Nina is sensitive to cold and requires a south-facing bedroom. Please pack your personal items and relocate to the secondary bedroom." I remained silent, pushing my already packed suitcase out of the marital home, while the assistant attempted to detain me. However, Ethan sneered contemptuously, "If she wishes to leave, let her, she will shamelessly return within a week regardless." Immediately after his words, snickers arose around us. They openly wagered in my presence, betting that I would not endure past tomorrow and would return, weeping like a pathetic fool, begging Ethan not to forsake me. Unbeknownst to them, my flight to Paris was scheduled to depart in 5 hours. This time, my departure was definitive. As I prepared to open the door, Ethan abruptly intercepted me at the threshold, stating, "Summer, leave the pendant I gave you. Nina favors this jade Buddha." The icy jade Buddha pendant with green flecks originated from the year of our purest affection, a protective charm he obtained for me by kneeling up 999 steps. Confronted with my reddened eyes, his demeanor remained detached. "Name your price." I was unwilling to quantify the ardent love of youth now. After all, I vividly recalled the consequence of refusing to yield the tent to Nina at the campsite, abandonment by him in the wilderness, trudging down the mountain in pouring rain step by step. I removed the jade Buddha and calmly placed it in Nina's palm, saying to her, returning it to its rightful owner. Hearing this, Ethan exhibited rare unease. "Summer, this is our token of love. What nonsense are you speaking?" Before his words concluded, the jade Buddha in Nina's hand abruptly slipped and shattered. Observing Nina's foot injured by the fragments, Ethan promptly lifted her into his arms. With a worried expression, he directed the assistant to summon a doctor. His anxious demeanor prompted the surrounding servants to cast sympathetic glances at me, a scene deemed absurd not only by them but also by myself. Last night, as I suffered menstrual cramps, Ethan was preparing to accompany Nina to a concert. Despite my agony causing me to curl up, he merely passed by me indifferently. Before losing consciousness, I overheard him instruct the nanny, "The house reeks of blood, clean it thoroughly, as Nina, who is fastidious about cleanliness, arrives tomorrow." Recalling this, I gripped my suitcase handle tightly and pushed the door to depart without hesitation. Ethan seized my hand with a cold expression, "Apologize." Before I could finish my retort, he dragged me before Nina, my arm striking the shelf by the door, resulting in a bloody scratch. Ethan glanced at the bloodstain, furrowed his brow slightly, and released my hand, stating, "You intentionally broke Nina's jade Buddha and startled her. Should you not apologize?" Since marrying Ethan, "I'm sorry" became my frequent utterance. For preparing overly spicy food, "I'm sorry." For calling and disturbing him due to concern over late work hours, "I'm sorry." Inadvertently viewing intimate photos of him and Nina, thus invading his privacy, "I'm sorry." I gazed earnestly at Ethan, then bowed deeply to Nina, saying "I'm sorry," before turning to Ethan with an expressionless face. I softly inquired, "Is this acceptable?" His gaze settled on my trembling lips, his breathing noticeably quickening. "Summer, my parents aren't here. Who are you putting on this pitiful act for?" Before I could respond, his assistant arrived hurriedly with a doctor. Ethan pushed me aside and escorted the doctor to Nina. While he attended to Nina with concern, I quietly departed. Upon closing the door, I heard 2 car horns, and seeing the black Maybach outside, I hastened my pace. However, before I could reach the exterior, 2 bodyguards abruptly appeared and forcibly escorted me back to the old residence. In the basement, Ethan bound me to a chair with restraints. He instructed the doctor to insert a needle into my vein. Through the half-closed curtain, I overheard the assistant say to Ethan, "Ethan, although both Madam and Miss Nina have AB blood type, Madam has recently miscarried and remains physically frail. Forcibly extracting blood could severely harm her health. I suggest we first go to the hospital and conduct a comprehensive examination for Miss Nina, following the doctor's recommendations." "You need not say more," Ethan stated coldly. "Your sole duty is to care for Nina. As for the rest, I have my own arrangements." Observing his approaching figure, I gently closed my eyes. "Are you afraid?" Ethan's tone, unusually laced with concern, said, "Endure a little longer, it will soon be over." I turned my head away, unwilling to argue. After donating 400 milliliters of blood, my complexion had paled. At that moment, Nina, lying outside, suddenly coughed lightly. Hearing this, Ethan immediately restrained the doctor's hand from removing the needle, demanding an additional 400 milliliters of blood be drawn. The doctor, with a twitching mouth, informed Ethan that continuing this extraction could endanger my life. After a 2-second hesitation, Ethan merely replied, "Nina is the patient. Everything prioritizes the patient, especially since this is what she owes Nina." But I calmly interrupted the doctor's plea, "Stop talking, continue drawing." Observing my pale, weakened face, Ethan opened his mouth, his eyes brimming with anger. He was about to demand whether I had caused enough trouble and if I truly intended to escalate a trivial matter irreconcilably, but Nina's soft call, "Brother Ethan," instantly diverted his attention. 3 days later, lying on a hospital bed due to fainting, I regained consciousness and observed Ethan reviewing a report. Our eyes met in silence. He brought a cup of warm water with an indifferent expression, seemingly intending to assist me in drinking. I turned my head aside and said softly, "No need, I can manage myself." Silently watching me drink half the cup, Ethan inquired softly, "Are you hungry? Would you like something to eat?" I evaded the question, saying, "Please give me my phone, thank you." Perhaps due to my overly polite and cold tone, Ethan hesitated briefly before handing me my phone. Noticing numerous unread messages flashing on the screen, he abruptly asked, "Who is it?" a curiosity he had never previously exhibited. A trace of impatience flickered in my eyes as I responded, "Someone you don't know." Unbuttoning the top of his suit, Ethan looked down at me coldly. "Summer, how long do you intend to sulk like this?" I retorted, "Haven't you had enough? It's merely blood donation, why are you being so passive-aggressive?" Previously, when Ethan was upset, I would reflect and strive to placate him. Now, I merely pointed to his vibrating phone in his pocket and calmly stated, "Your phone is ringing." Retrieving his phone, a hint of a smile flashed in Ethan's eyes as he habitually stepped away to the corridor outside the ward. As soon as he left, my phone rang too. Upon answering the video call, before I could speak, the person on the screen anxiously inquired, "Didn't we agree you'd come to Paris to find me?" "Summer, have you changed your mind?" "I haven't changed my mind, there's just been a minor setback." "A minor setback? What's wrong with you?" "No, I must fly back immediately." I interrupted their rapid questioning, lowering my head and softly reassuring, "Give me a little more time." As Ethan pushed the door open, I was ending a call, catching a glimpse of the long-absent smile on my lips. An inexplicable bitterness surged in his heart. However, he had just promised Nina to return immediately to tell her a bedtime story, thus lacking the time to inquire about my recent conversation. It was likely my cousin who frequently visited me again. After all, since marrying him, my social circle had been reduced almost entirely to family, devoid of friends. Picking up his laptop, Ethan turned hurriedly and said coldly, "Summer, I have an urgent meeting, I'll return tomorrow." The next day, the day after, and the following day, Ethan did not reappear at the hospital. However, courtesy of mutual friends, I continuously received intimate photos of him and Nina. He escorted Nina to banquets and parties, resembling a lovesick youth eagerly introducing his beloved to everyone. On the day of my discharge, Ethan posted on Facebook, "Beneath a starry sky, he stood atop a dazzling Ferris wheel, gently caressing Nina's face and embracing her affectionately." I commented below, "Wishing you both a lifetime together and eternal unity." 1 minute later, Ethan called me. I did not answer. An hour later, I completed the discharge procedures alone. In the hospital lobby, I saw Ethan and Nina, overhearing the reception nurse say to her, "Madam, your husband is so considerate, he accompanies you every visit, and during blood draws, he chats to distract you from the pain before allowing the nurse to proceed." Surrounding female patients, upon hearing the nurse's words, displayed evident envy. I subconsciously stroked my abdomen, recalling that a child had once resided there, lost to a miscarriage from blood loss after a car accident, the day I tremblingly called Ethan. On the other end was Nina, unclothed, sister-in-law, "Brother Ethan lost at Truth or Dare, so he's currently tied to a chair by me as punishment. Do you need him for something?" I said nothing and hung up, Within a minute, Ethan called back himself, embracing a tearful Nina, berating me for narrow-mindedness and utter stupidity, adding, "Someone like you who miscarries from driving, I truly doubt what you're capable of achieving. Summer, you might as well die in a car crash." Reflecting on this, I was about to turn and leave when Ethan approached expressionlessly. "What are you standing here for?" Lowering my eyes, I instinctively explained, "I didn't follow you, it was truly a coincidence. Sorry for the disturbance." "Wait a moment," Ethan interrupted with a frown, a trace of jealousy flashing in Nina's eyes. Clasping Ethan's hand, Nina said softly to me, "Sister-in-law, I sincerely thank you for donating blood to me. Without you, I wouldn't be this healthy now. Brother Ethan, can you let sister-in-law come home with us?" Ethan gently stroked Nina's hair. "As you wish, my lady." Intending to return for something anyway, I did not decline Nina's kind invitation. Inside the stretched Lincoln, I soon, as Nina desired, found a used condom in the seat crevice. "Oh my, how embarrassing, why is this still here?" "Brother Ethan, didn't you say the car was cleaned?" Biting her lip, Nina snuggled into Ethan's arms, shyly tapping his shoulder. Ethan chuckled and apologized to Nina while discreetly observing my reaction. Thus, when he noticed my lack of anger, the frustration from the hospital room that day inexplicably resurfaced. "Summer, since boarding, you've been fiddling with that damn phone," he said with a hint of dissatisfaction, as if jealous. "Are you chatting with your cousin or someone else I don't know?" Having booked my flight, I turned off the phone screen. "It's nothing." Hearing my reply, the displeasure on Ethan's face grew more pronounced. Seizing my phone while I was distracted, he asked sternly for the password. "Our wedding anniversary." Married for 5 years, such a simple number, yet he tried until the phone locked without success. The journey was silent until we reached the villa. As the car stopped, Ethan carefully assisted the carsick Nina into the master bedroom of the old house. Ascending the stairs, he glimpsed me heading alone to the ground floor guest bedroom. After a moment's thought, he told the maid, "Prepare a few more dishes that madam usually enjoys." In the guest bedroom, I sorted my packed clothes, unsurprised to find them all shredded. Fortunately, the passport and documents concealed within remained intact. As I packed my documents and prepared to leave quietly, Nina blocked the doorway, holding a glass of red wine and scrutinizing me with contempt. "Summer, I didn't expect you to be so enduring, publicly humiliated by me, a laughingstock in high society, yet you shamelessly linger in the Liu family. Indeed, with your Yu family bankrupt last month and both parents deceased, without the Yu family, you must cling to brother Ethan as your lifeline." At this point, Nina recalled an amusing incident. "Summer, that day you cried and begged brother Ethan to drive you to the hospital for your mother's final moments. Do you know why he refused?" "Because he'd promised to take me stargazing on the mountaintop. Look, this photo in my album was taken then." With a snap, I knocked Nina's phone from her hand, unable to bear it any longer, and seized her wrist. Her wine glass fell accidentally, and I inadvertently stepped on broken glass, pushing her. During the altercation, a panicked Nina accidentally toppled the bathroom vase and water pipe, causing water to splash throughout the room, with glass shards scattering and droplets flying. Dressed thinly, I was soon drenched and collapsed weakly to the floor. At that moment, I heard Ethan's voice, "Summer." Immediately following were the servants' dissuading voices, "Ethan, it's full of water inside, you can't enter yet. Wait until maintenance fixes it and we clean. Move aside. Summer is still inside." Ethan rushed in heedlessly, unaware that Nina was also present. "Brother Ethan, I'm so cold." Without letting her finish, he unhesitatingly helped her up, not sparing me a glance, and turned to leave. An hour later, after comforting Nina, Ethan searched the entire villa but could not locate me. At the airport, after checking my luggage, I boarded the Paris-bound flight while sneezing. Before takeoff, I received an Instagram message from Ethan. "Are you throwing a tantrum again and running away? Summer, I'm telling you, because of you, Nina is sick again, you must apologize to her at the hospital tomorrow." I did not reply, instead silently blocking and deleting him. "Ethan, henceforth, we are no longer connected." The next day at the hospital, Nina asked, "Brother Ethan, cough cough, am I going to die?" Meeting her pitiful gaze, Ethan promptly held her hand, gently reassuring, "The doctor says you're healthy, you can be discharged after the 4. Really? Seeing you enter the hospital with a constant frown and silence, I thought I had a serious illness. Nina's unintentional remark briefly dazed Ethan. Involuntarily, he recalled the indifferent look I gave him yesterday when the pipe burst. Frowning deeply, Ethan reopened Instagram, troubled that I had not replied even a single word. Previously, despite his neglect, I always complied, but now I seemed to have mastered playing hard to get. With an inward scoff, Ethan meticulously escorted Nina from the hospital, dined with her, ensured her safe return home, then proceeded to the company. Upon entering the office, Ethan heard the assistant report that Old Master Lou had returned and urgently summoned all executives to the conference room. Hearing this, Ethan strode quickly to the meeting room while casually instructing the assistant, "Order the freshest roses and a limited edition Hermes for me." The assistant nodded promptly. "Yes, Ethan, I'll arrange the purchase and deliver it to Miss Nina immediately." Ethan paused, glared discontentedly, rubbed his temples, and said, "Send it to number 1 mansion." In his mind, Summer, having left the old house, could only be at their marital home. At dawn a week later, having resolved urgent matters, Ethan returned to the old house and saw a gentle figure in a cotton dress curled up like a cat on the study chair. "Summer, I've told you countless times I'll return after overtime, you don't need to wait every time." Approaching and realizing it was Nina, Ethan's reprimand halted abruptly as he stared coldly and expressionlessly. Nina involuntarily shrank her shoulders, her expression helpless yet pitiful. "Brother Ethan, sister-in-law hasn't come home all this time. I sent her many messages with no reply. Perhaps I should leave?" Seeing Nina on the verge of tears, Ethan crouched and silently embraced her, perfunctorily kissing her lip corner, urging her to relax and not overthink. "What Summer says doesn't matter, whether she returns or not, you can stay here." After washing up, Ethan, in a bathrobe, sat alone on the balcony drinking. Having abstained from alcohol for a long time, tonight, for some reason, he couldn't suppress the urge to drink. As if drawn by a force, Ethan located my number in his contacts. His finger hovered over the dial button, undecided. After finishing a bottle of red wine, he didn't call but sent a reminder, "Summer, tomorrow is the company's 30th anniversary celebration. I'm reminding you not to cause any incidents." On the anniversary celebration day, Ethan attended with Nina, appearing as a loving couple. Only when Old Master Lou arrived did he release her hand to assist in greeting key guests. "Why didn't Summer come with you?" Facing Old Master Lou's pointed question, Ethan pursed his lips, unusually defending me. "Sorry, Father, Summer has been trying to conceive lately. Seeing her struggle, I allowed her to arrive later. She'll be here soon." Time passed swiftly, reaching 9 p.m., the celebration hit its interactive peak, yet I had not appeared, and Ethan suppressed his growing anxiety. He stepped aside, dialed my number, receiving, "Hello, the number you have dialed is busy." Unwillingly calling again, he still got the cold busy tone. At that moment, a woman in Chanel haute couture entered the hall, placing the 3 gifts I had entrusted to her on the table one by one. Amid the guests' murmurs, Old Master Lou opened the first gift box with a kind smile, revealing a vividly embroidered depiction of blooming flowers symbolizing wealth. It was evident that a skilled artisan had poured immense effort into its hand embroidery. Moved, Old Master Lou picked up the second gift with gleaming eyes. Inside was the family heirloom ring Old Master Lou gave me upon marrying Ethan. The moment it was seen, the hall's atmosphere seemed to freeze. In elite circles, a woman returning a man's betrothal gift has an unmistakable implication. Before Old Master Lou could react, a grave Ethan clenched his fists and approached the third gift. As I anticipated, Ethan, with a stern expression, personally opened my carefully prepared final gift. The box was small, yet its contents bore immense weight, a divorce agreement and a share transfer document. Ethan was stunned. Divorce? Summer wanted to divorce him? Impossible. Upon reading the divorce agreement, Old Master Lou publicly slapped Ethan hard. "You bastard. Look what you've done. Had I known, I wouldn't have let you be with Summer. Ethan, you've greatly disappointed me." Seeing Old Master Lou nearly faint from anger, the Lou family swiftly supported him away. After all tactfully left, Ethan remained, staring motionlessly at the divorce agreement. After an indeterminate time, He expressionlessly shredded the divorce agreement, ignoring Nina's sobs behind him, took the keys from the assistant, and drove to number 1 mansion. Regrettably, number 1 mansion was silent. Pushing open the door, he sat on the steps, drank all night until his head throbbed and tears blurred his vision, yet Summer did not appear. Not until 3 days post-banquet did he discover Summer had emigrated. Why emigrate? Why move? Why divorce? Did she truly despise seeing him that much? He was merely kinder to another woman, couldn't she tolerate it? Why could Summer leave and divorce at will? He disagreed, he wouldn't allow it. After considerable effort to ascertain Summer's exact address, Ethan booked the earliest flight, bypassing home, and went straight from the company to the airport. As he was about to board, Nina, with red eyes, found him. "Brother Ethan, where are you going? Are you abandoning me?" Glancing at her swollen eyes, Ethan stroked her hair. "I've arranged a new residence for you, move there today." Hearing this, Nina's tears fell like broken pearls. "As long as I'm with you, I'd live in a basement, I don't want to leave you. If sister-in-law truly loved you, she'd accept me instead of causing a scene at the company's anniversary, shaming you publicly. Someone like her." Before Nina could finish her grievances, Ethan coldly interrupted with no expression. "What right do you have to judge my wife?" "Nina, I thought you were sensible, it seems you haven't grasped your place." Hearing the boarding announcement, Ethan looked down at Nina indifferently. "No matter how many women I have outside, Summer will always be my only wife. By the way, take all your belongings when you leave the old house, I don't want Summer upset by any trace of you upon her return." Nina stood teary-eyed for a long time, then bitterly smiled at Ethan's departing back. "Ethan, I didn't expect you to be so naive. After hurting her like this, how could she return to you?" It's said women understand women best, yet Ethan, striding away swiftly, disregarded Nina's words entirely. He understood his wife. Over 5 years, no matter how disappointed Summer was, a sincere apology and a desired gift would instantly dispel her displeasure. However, this time, Summer was so furious she had a lawyer draft a divorce agreement. Mere gifts delivered by an assistant were clearly insufficient. After brief contemplation, upon reaching his destination, Ethan headed to a renowned jewelry store, presenting a design of the diamond ring I chose 5 years ago for our wedding, saying to the jeweler, "I'm pressed for time, please complete it swiftly." 6 hours later, Ethan, carrying a sparkling diamond ring, hurriedly left the jewelry store, having booked a private room at a high-end restaurant and 99 red roses. Nearly 3 days without sleep, Ethan drove energetically to an art gallery on Champs-Élysées, nervously and excitedly rehearsing his meticulously planned apology in his mind. Regardless of iterations, his first words to me remained a heartfelt, "Summer, I love you." Finally, Ethan located me in the bustling, unfamiliar city, but the roses in his hand dropped abruptly upon first sight of me. Amid the crowd, I was arm in arm with a refined man, my face radiant with a happiness he'd never witnessed, softly discussing wall paintings with him. Ethan couldn't utter "I love you," instead asking blankly, "Summer, who is he?" Noticing my tension, Victor gently tightened his grip. "You're Ethan, right? I've heard of you. TSK, you're uglier than rumors suggest." Seeing Victor ease my tension, making me laugh softly, Ethan's heart felt struck hard, clenching his fists until his fingertips pierced his palms. "Since you've traveled far, I'll be polite and introduce myself. I'm Victor Summers." "Victor? I see you're the butler's son expelled from the Yu family for misconduct, the unfilial child ousted by his parents for greed." Victor merely raised an eyebrow lightly, unprovoked by Ethan's words, but I frowned. "Ethan, brother Victor isn't what you think. Why are you here? If it's about divorce, contact my lawyer." Hearing my dismissal, Ethan's face turned exceedingly unpleasant. Momentarily forgetting he came to persuade me back, not argue, he said, "Summer, I've come in person. How long will you keep this tantrum? Come home, I don't have time to argue here." "Go home?" I stared at Ethan as if he were insane, asking, "Are you under too much work stress and lost your mind?" "We're divorced, didn't you see the signed agreement? Though unlikely, it's possible my cousin forgot to deliver it." As I pondered redrafting a divorce agreement for him to sign, he confidently said, "That meaningless agreement is torn. Summer, I know why you're upset. Nina's matter is resolved. I assure you, you're my only legal wife, and she'll never appear before you again. Ethan strode toward me, reaching to touch the face he longed for, but I stepped away before he could approach. My tone was calm. Ethan, when the Yu family faced a crisis, only the Liu family aided generously. These 5 years of marriage, I've strived to repay that kindness. Now that Nina's divorced, you lovers can unite. I genuinely wish you a loving marriage and long life together. With such clarity, Ethan couldn't miss my sincerity. At that moment, he lost his usual composure entirely. Wife, how can you say this? Was our 5-year marriage just debt repayment? Do you think I'd accept such an absurd excuse? No. He wouldn't accept it. If I didn't love him, why did I softly ask for a kiss every morning before he left for work? And why, during his car accident, did I linger like a madwoman by the emergency room, tears blurring my vision, refusing all persuasion to leave? I clearly loved him deeply, so much that even the dullest could sense my profound affection, yet what did he do? My loving tolerance and obedience were met with his ruthless trampling of my dignity. He forgot that hearts have warmth. Once broken and cooled, they gradually cease to indulge in self-pity and squander emotions. Forcing a smile more bitter than tears, Ethan, eyes bloodshot, gazed at me deeply. Summer, I didn't realize Nina's presence caused you such pain. She and I are over. Keeping her near was mere friendly aid. Once she finds a place, I'll arrange her departure, okay? I shook my head firmly. Ethan, I don't care about your relationship with Nina. Know that I've found a new life here and cannot return to your world, so please leave. What new life? You. Under anger and anxiety's dual assault, after 2 sleepless nights and a long flight, Ethan didn't finish his sentence. He felt dizzy and collapsed suddenly. Awakening from his faint, the clock read 2 a.m. Finding a cup of water from the nurse by the bed, Ethan, warmed, ignored his splitting headache and left the ward, eager to find me. Yet, staggering up the winding stairs to the attic balcony, he saw me and Victor in a passionate kiss, a sharp pain piercing his heart. Pale-faced, Ethan rushed forward, seized Victor's tie, and questioned tremblingly. He could no longer delude himself that Victor was merely my nominal childhood friend. Who allowed you to touch my wife? Victor, amused, retorted, your wife? Ethan, have you truly cherished Summer as your wife? You. Before Ethan could rage further, the fiery Victor punched his left eye. Ethan, if not for Summer's kindness, I'd have tossed you, this shameless rogue, to the suburbs for the dogs. I'm telling you, Summer's my fiancée now. No matter how you pester, she won't spare you a glance. Stunned by this, Ethan lowered his poised fist, looking at me incredulously. Is he telling the truth? Summer, we're not officially divorced, and you're already with another man? I didn't tell Ethan that on the day Nina moved into the old house, I had, via a transoceanic video call, accepted Victor's heartfelt proposal, he who had silently guarded me. Leaning lightly in Victor's strong arms, a playful smile curved my lips as I nodded gently to Ethan. Shocked, Ethan's voice trembled. Summer, are you mad? You're my wife, we're not officially divorced, yet you're flirting with another man instantly. What do you take me for? I laughed, seeing Ethan's devastated state. Lifting my chin calmly, I raised an eyebrow. And what did you take me for? Ethan, don't be hypocritical. I'll tell you one last time, I want a divorce. Your opinion is irrelevant to me. After speaking, ignoring Ethan's instantly pale face, I held Victor's hand and left. I neither knew nor cared when Ethan departed the hospital. Yet he didn't return home, instead renting an apartment opposite my residence overlooking the street. His routine consisted of video conferences with executives and walking to my house. Daily, he brought different desserts or small gifts I'd once mentioned but he never prepared, silently waiting at my doorstep. I neither responded nor altered my schedule for him. 5 years of tumultuous marriage taught me, women should never forsake their aspirations to please men, pursue dreams when due, enjoy life when apt. The world is vast, and I'm only responsible for filling my life with sunshine. As for Ethan, I surmised his reluctance to let go stemmed from the Liu family elder's attachment to me, repeatedly urging him to seek my forgiveness. Thus, I personally called Ethan's parents, informing them I had a new partner in life, requesting they not compel Ethan to linger in Paris futilely out of concern for me. Yet, for a full month after that call, Ethan unexpectedly persisted at my doorstep, merely to glimpse me through the window from afar. The first to lose patience was Victor. That evening, returning from the theater, we saw Ethan from afar, holding unchanging red roses under the streetlight. As I stepped out, brilliant fireworks burst in the night sky. Victor had masochistically reviewed photos of Ethan's proposal to me countless times. Back then, naive and innocent, I was captivated by the twinkling fireworks, joyfully accepting Ethan's proposal. Now, seeing my gaze drawn to the fireworks, Victor, already insecure, couldn't restrain himself, charging at Ethan in fury and fighting. "Ethan! You shameless interloper! Always using these tricks to catch my girlfriends. I've never seen such brazen persistence in over 20 years. If I'm persistent, what are you?" Summer and I were together 5 years. If not for her jealousy over another woman, she wouldn't have sought divorce, giving you no chance to step in. I'm telling you, she's with you now due to a misunderstanding, thinking I've stopped loving her, reluctantly accepting you as a substitute. Once she knows I've always loved her, she'll leave you and return to me. Hearing this, Victor laughed in rage, punching Ethan to the ground. When I miscarried after the accident, Victor dropped everything in France, appearing instantly to care for me meticulously until I emerged from gloom and smiled again. Meanwhile, Ethan, citing work, had booked 2 tickets to the UK, cavorting with the still-married Nina, staying in a Manchester hotel for 3 days. Despite my persuasion, the men argued relentlessly. Amid their fervor, 2 foreign tourists passed by, one locking eyes with Ethan, stepping in to quell the dispute, and escorting all 3 of us to a nearby hospital without hesitation. At the hospital, focused on Victor, I was led to Ethan's ward. Only then did I realize tonight's events were Ethan's meticulously orchestrated scheme. He had gone to such lengths just for a chance to speak with me alone. With a hint of mockery, I asked, "Was this necessary?" Ethan, bloodied at the mouth, eyes slightly red, smiled awkwardly at me. Then, with a hoarse voice, he said slowly and firmly, "Summer, I miss you so much. I miss you to the point my heart is breaking." As the doctor treated Ethan's injuries, I glimpsed the ring on his finger, the wedding ring I had finalized after long discussions with the designer. I recalled Ethan's harsh critique then. "A wedding ring? So ugly. Where'd you find this designer? I've never heard of them. I won't wear this at our wedding." In the ward, with Victor distracted, Ethan approached, gripping my hand tightly, unwilling to let go. "Summer, I want to apologize in person. I'm sorry, wife, it's all my fault. I'll do everything to make amends, hoping you'll forgive me." Before I could respond, his phone rang. Nina calling. Answering, Ethan unhesitatingly put it on speaker. "Brother Ethan. Help, Brother Ethan." Assistant Andy burst into my house with others, took me to the hospital. "The child, they want to draw my blood." Hearing Nina's desperate pleas, Ethan didn't flinch, focusing on me. "Nina, I know you faked fainting to draw Summer's blood that day. Now, you'll return it." The false rumors about the Lou Group president's wife's chaotic life spread by hired trolls. I've had lawyers handle it. The cost of defaming my wife is legal punishment. Reflect in prison henceforth. Nearly breathless, tears blurring her vision, Nina incoherently pleaded over the phone. "Ethan. Brother Ethan, it was just a joke. I didn't mean it. I didn't expect you to have blood drawn for me. Punish me, however. I beg you, spare me." Hearing Nina's sudden terrified scream, I frowned instinctively. Noticing my expression shift, Ethan swiftly ended the call, gently holding my hand and placing it on his chest. Haggard-looking Ethan said with hopeful eyes, "Summer, I've sent someone to retrieve Nina's blood. After, she'll go to prison. Can you forgive me even a little?" "Even a bit would suffice." I withdrew my hand from his grip, seeing disappointment flash in his eyes, and calmly said, "Ethan, you're truly insane. Moreover, in a lawful society, do your parents know you're acting so recklessly?" Ethan forced a smile. "This is what Nina deserves." He thought that over 5 years, his misunderstandings and hurts toward me had amassed like a mountain. But it didn't matter. Recognizing his errors, he'd spent his life making amends. Yet the next day, Victor and I held a romantic wedding. When Ethan learned of it, rushing to the church heedlessly, the solemn priest had just pronounced us husband and wife. Ethan witnessed me, in a satin wedding gown, smiling with my eyes, saying to Victor, I do. No. Summer. I don't agree to you marrying him. His heart felt pierced by an ice pick, pain nearly suffocating him. Typically composed, Ethan now resembled a lone bird broken by a storm, kneeling under dazzling lights, hoarsely pleading, Wife, you're my wife, my lifelong wife. We won't divorce, I never considered it, please don't marry another man. My eyes brimmed with clear disdain, mocking him, Ethan, for the Liu elders sending wedding gifts, I can grudgingly forgive your rude disruption of my wedding. But Victor and I don't welcome you at our wedding, please return whence you came. Hearing my ruthless words, Ethan's tears finally burst forth, Summer, I truly know my wrongs, I won't touch other women, I swear I'll love only you forever. I can't accept life without you, since you left, I think of you daily, even my dreams are of our past love. Summer, I love you more than anyone, no one loves you more. He bared his surging emotions heedlessly. Ethan, so agitated his forehead veins bulged, yanked off the blood-stained ring, crying, We won't divorce, wife, whatever you want, I'll provide, I only beg you not to leave me. With a pfft, seeing me unmoved and instead sneering, Ethan's face stiffened instantly. Looking into his bewildered eyes, I said indifferently, Ethan, I have someone who truly loves me, and I love Victor, my beloved. As for you, even if every man died, I wouldn't turn back. He watched helplessly as I joyfully accepted Victor, who slid a dazzling diamond ring onto my finger. Ethan felt his blood freeze into frost. As I walked past Ethan arm in arm with Victor, happily letting him lift me toward the helicopter outside the venue. Ethan, left behind, suddenly performed a mad act that stunned everyone. Ethan drew a fruit knife, eyes brimming with desperate tears, shouting, Summer, I'll repay all I owe you now. He slashed his wrist, blood staining the flower-strewn carpet. Sweating in pain, trembling, Ethan said, Don't go, Summer, I'm returning your blood. Summer, please love me again, please look back at me one last time. Hearing Ethan's desperate cries, I nestled in Victor's arms without turning, cooing, so unlucky, such a fine day ruined by a lunatic. Husband, take me away quickly. Victor briskly carried me to the lawn, gently placing me in the helicopter's co-pilot seat. Wife, let's honeymoon. Where? Around the world. Great. Smiling broadly, I leaned on Victor's shoulder with delight, letting him start the engine, flying us toward a romantic horizon.